Welcome to tracking my Bitcoin portfolio, day 134. My Bitcoin's worth $29,069.10, which is up $1,820.95 since yesterday. Now I'm going to go into these comments. This person said, "What's your opinion on BTC Treasury strategy?" I'm not a fan of Bitcoin Treasury companies. I believe that Bitcoin is the innovation, it's the emerging global monetary network, not a Bitcoin treasury company. I can't go and self custody shares of a Bitcoin treasury company. So it's Bitcoin's the innovation. Bitcoin is the foundation. Like a Bitcoin treasury company is built on top of Bitcoin. So you can never claim that strategy is a better investment than Bitcoin because strategy is built on Bitcoin. So basically, what I'm trying to say is I believe that Bitcoin is the safest possible investment with the highest possible returns. Now, I'm not saying it's the safest investment, and I'm not saying it's going to give you the highest returns. I combine the two to create the hurdle rate. So basically, if you're trying to get higher returns than Bitcoin, I believe that you're taking on too much risk. Basically, is my philosophy. And so if you're investing into a Bitcoin treasury company, sure, when Bitcoin's rallying, sure, is it going to outperform Bitcoin? Yeah, probably. But I still believe that you're taking on too much risk because Bitcoin doesn't care about your feelings. Bitcoin will go into another bear market, or this bear market will continue. Like Bitcoin does not care. So basically, you have to respect the asset in my opinion, and hold the actual Bitcoin. But I'm very pro free market. Like I'm not saying Bitcoin treasury companies shouldn't exist. I'm very pro free markets and allowing people to do whatever they want. But me personally, I'm going to be holding the actual emerging global monetary network and not something built on top of Bitcoin. Me personally. Um, so yeah, I hope that answered your question, and thank you for your comment. This person said BTC 69,000. I'm not gonna lie, I've never seen Bitcoin go up so much in like a day. Like that was what, like 6%, like 7%. So that was very surprising. I'm a little bit annoyed because I had some money on the side. I was waiting to put in. I hadn't got around to doing it, and so I was like about to put it in, and then it just went up like 6%. I was like, damn it. So yeah, but you never. It could go back down. Could go back down. So never know. But thank you for your comment. This person said, what do you think about the pseudo sovereign citizen arguments that people use in court when trying to defend themselves against serious crimes? I totally agree with you that tax laws being ridiculous, but some of the laws are in place to protect people, like anti-theft, anti-assault, anti-murder laws. I get what you mean about resistance to authoritarian laws like that tax law, but obviously you think that some laws are beneficial to citizens. You can criticize tax systems, government power, or unfair laws. That's normal and absolutely justified. But sovereign citizen arguments don't protect anyone from criminal charges or tax obligations. They're not a form of resistance. They're a legal dead end. Yeah, I would agree with that. Like obviously those sovereign citizen like body cams where someone is like driving and they don't have like a driver's license, and then the cops like, can I see your driver's license? And they're like, I'm a sovereign citizen. I'm traveling. And then they just get arrested. Like obviously that's not how I view it. I'm not saying like, oh, I'm a sovereign citizen, so laws don't apply to me. What I am saying though is that um, I have my own morals as an individual. Okay, I decide what's right and what is wrong. So it's not the law that tells me what is right and what is wrong, because there can be laws that are unjust, that are unfair. Go back in history. Okay, many laws that were totally unfair to people back then, and if you were to have stood up to those laws, and say, this is unjust, and maybe you got arrested. A good example would be the civil rights movement. Standing up to uh, racist laws. Okay, like obviously it's a good thing to stand up to those laws. Every politician in today's society would be like, wow, look how strong they were for standing up against those authoritarian laws. But in that moment, you would be breaking the law. You're a bad person. You're breaking the law. So what I'm trying to say is that laws don't define my morality, and they shouldn't define your morality. You define your own morality. Um, I think that's something to just keep in mind. Um, but I'm not saying that laws don't apply to me. I'm just saying that um, any unjust laws that don't align with my philosophy, my morality, I'll have to stand up against them. And there's nothing wrong with protesting. Like there's nothing wrong with protesting, obviously, and just saying like, okay, this is authoritarian. I disagree with this. And in some instances, maybe getting arrested would be justified. Think back to people getting arrested for unjustified laws back in like the 60s. Okay, we would consider them as good people. Like look at them standing up uh, to this authoritarian law. So it's just something to think about. And I'm just gonna kind of read this over again. So what was there? Yeah. Oh. I would. You need like without government. Um, it's anarchy. Okay. There needs to be a rule of law in order to create a complex society. If there are no laws, then that just leads to anarchy. So think of the Purge. Think of like obviously the movie The Purge, where everyone's just like running around, like killing each other. That's what anarchy would be. So there needs to be a government to create laws which allow for a complex society to be built on top of that. A technologically advanced society can't be created from anarchy. That's not possible. So yeah, I'm actually like obviously we need government. It's just I view kind of like the best form of government tends to be smaller, which allows it for there to be less corruption. It's kind of a complex debate, but how I view it, like a smaller government tends to be less corrupt. Like if you look at like the United States, it's just like a two-party system. It's just filled with corruption, but it's a complex debate. So it's I don't really have a solution. I'm just saying that there does need to be a government in order to build a complex society. But there's nothing wrong with standing up to protesting any laws that you disagree with. So that's kind of my philosophy. But no, I wouldn't say that I'm just a sovereign citizen that just that just that just drives around without a driver's license. That's like I'm a sovereign citizen. I'm traveling. I'm traveling. But yeah, thank you guys for your comments. Make sure you guys subscribe. I need to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I'll see you in the next one.